All right, welcome to Hardheaded Productions podcast here, number 4. We finally made it. We have with us, as always, I'm John, and we also have Brandon here. And we'd like to introduce our good friend Ellis, also known as
Good afternoon.
Haynes, or how do you, I mean, he's got a couple different names. I call him Ellis.
Ellis is easy.
That's how I was introduced to him. So
Welcome
he's coming
aboard.
in. Yeah, welcome. You're just going to, local guy here, and another perspective on life and shit and stuff that's going on in the world. So, you sent me earlier in the week. There was a fight, UFC fight. It was a Saturday ago. No, it was 2 weeks ago. Wasn't it? Almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, D11.
Yeah, and then it was Sunday. It was Sunday before. It was this last Sunday's fight.
Oh yes.
It was Sunday.
Yeah.
It was Sunday before President's Day fight.
Yes.
So. I'm going to talk about that. That's the Derek Lewis and Travis Brown fight. And then you also sent me the link of the MMA in Britain. It was like MMA Britain 18 or something, I think is what it was called. And there was a fighter that basically was...
He was showboating too much.
Like
Anderson Silva.
Well, not as bad.
No, yeah, not as bad, but he got a lesson learned.
Yeah, he was a little dancing around, and he got...
knocked out.
Kicked to the face.
And that's his third loss in a row. Can't be doing that.
Can't spike the ball before you score, huh?
Yeah, I mean, hold the ball till you cross the end zone. So, I mean, and Ellis, he played basketball at a Division I college. So, with that knowledge, talk about how you should finish a game and how you should act. If you're a professional and you need to act professionally, what do you think?
It would drive a coach crazy, one that can get you benched, which it should. Today's athlete's different from the athletes of back in the day. You score a touchdown or a basket, whatever, that's great, but you got to get your butt back on defense. Game's still going. Your opponent's down scoring while you're celebrating.
Yeah, and in the fight game, it's really important to always be defensive minded.
Yeah. Get your head taken off that way.
Yeah, and this guy got a shin across his lower jaw and was out before he hit the canvas. And that guy that knocked him out came in and hit him another 3 or 4 times.
As he should.
As he should have. Yeah.
So good.
It was great to watch. I love watching cocky assholes get knocked the fuck out.
Yep.
There's a whole, that's, world star on that there, right? So, and then, so we'll talk about the fight night, which was Derek Lewis. His nickname is The Beast, and he goes by it. He calls himself the Black Beast.
He's a beast.
So, and then Travis Brown, they were ranked, I think, number 8 and number 9 coming into the fights. Derek Lewis was 8, Travis Brown was 9. Derek Lewis he got kicked to the gut early in the first round, which everybody thought it was like a rib or spleen injury or something. He got caught, and he was hurt. He was clutching, but he kept punching because that's what he does best. Yep. And the second round, he comes out and punches, and he rocked Travis Brown. Travis Brown kind of stood up, like hands, like turtled up while standing. I was yelling at the TV for Derek to go to the body with punches. Yeah. But he kept punching the head, landing uppercuts. Spun him off the fence, caught him right across the dome of his head. Travis Brown's legs wobbled and I think Derek Lewis said like a little baby deer. Yeah. I think in his post-fight interview, he said he did that little baby deer thing, and which Ellis knows. We went to Vegas October. Is that when we went?
Yeah,
October, November.
Yeah.
And I always have the saying, is it the shoes or the booze? When you see these girls leaving the clubs at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're walking around and stumbling on their because either they're drunk and can't walk, or they're in high heels and they're like all dressed up and they can't walk, and it's the shoes or the booze. And I always say they look like little baby giraffes, like just coming out and they can barely. So when Travis Brown or when Derek Lewis said "little baby deer," I knew exactly what he was talking about because I've used that almost the same terminology. And when he knocked him out, Travis Brown went down.
Like a bitch.
Derek, well, yes.
No, he's a bitch.
All right. Yeah. I'll bring him into the show next week and let's see what he can do to you.
Bring him on.
All right. So, Travis Brown's he's an excellent fighter. He's got a long range. I mean, he does. He's got really long limbs. He's got long range. I think he's just been in the wrong camp.
Okay. And
the camp he went to happened to be Ronda Rousey's camp, which is his current girlfriend, as far as we know. I don't know. I don't care about that. I'm not a TMZ fan. So, but here's the thing: Derek Lewis hit him, knocked him down, wobbled him, follows up, lands on top of him, and starts raining down punches. I counted 11 in a row that he hit him with. The last probably 3 or 4, the ref should have stopped.
Yes.
But Derek Lewis said after the fact that he was glad the ref didn't stop because he needed to beat his ass down because if nobody knows, Travis Brown allegedly put his hands on his wife. I think it was like June or July of 2015.
I think it's 15, yeah.
So he allegedly, his wife put pictures on her Instagram with bruises, and then Travis Brown got suspended pending an investigation from the UFC. He was cleared by the UFC, and his wife, now ex-wife, never filed any complaints with the police department or anything. There's never been any investigation into it at all. Or if there was, nothing was ever done about it. He's never been convicted of that. He's never been prosecuted. In my mind, he's not a wife beater.
Yeah.
And then he started dating Ronda Rousey, and I think that's why you have a problem with him. Because
Yes.
you wanted to date Ronda Rousey.
Yes, who doesn't want to date her? Okay, she's
I don't.
beautiful. She's beautiful and smart.
Okay.
Just like Paige Van Zandt.
Little 12 gauge. So anyway, tell me what you think now, Travis Brown.
Well, like I said, I still don't like him. He's been losing his third fight he lost. He won.
I think 3 out of 4 he's
3 out of
lost.
4 he's lost. That's not good. You need to change the camp or maybe break up with Ronda Rousey and stay focused. That's what I think. You keep on losing, then you simply have to give. Or just retire and just sail to the sunset with Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think he dropped out of the top 10 rankings. I know Derek Lewis gained at least 1. I think he moved up to 7, if not 6. There's some interesting fights for Derek Lewis, though, now in that heavyweight division. That division is crazy because anybody in the top 15 can stop anybody in the top 15 with one punch.
Yep.
That's what I love about the heavyweights.
Right.
They're maybe not the most technical. Sometimes they just kind of dance around and feel each other out. But everybody knows that there's just knockout power in any given moment.
With that size and strength, that big and talented.
So
and trained,
in the heavyweight class,
possible.
the heavyweight class in the UFC is so light heavyweight is 205. You have to weigh in the day before at 205 pounds. The heavyweight, you have the maximum. They want you to be at 225 minimum and 265 maximum. So going into that fight, Derek Lewis weighed in at 262 and Travis Brown at 241. So there's a 40-pound difference, or 20-pound difference, right there off the bat. There's a 40-pound difference in the weight class by itself between 225 and 265. That's basically 4 other weight classes in the lower divisions, because all your lower divisions, your welterweights, or your bantams, and you got 125, 135, 145, 155. Then it jumps. So those are all 10 pounds. Then it jumps 15 to 170, 15 to 185, 20 to 205, 20 to 225, but it really goes to 265. And I heard that Derek Lewis walks around close to 300, if not over 300, and cuts to 265.
That's like a super heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would love to see that division split into heavyweights and super heavyweights.
Because they have
That'd
that
be
wrestling.
interesting.
Because then you can have
Wrestling have
like Mark Hunts and a lot of these big guys, have them fight at 250. Do a 225 to 250 and a 250 to 275 or something like that.
What does
or
Lesnar walk around at?
He's probably close to 300 walking around weight.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
But that's also, but his walking around weight is his weight because he's such a big muscular guy anyways. Mm-hmm. And, let's not, he's got some crazy south of the border horse semen stuff going through him too. So
it's like a door with a head. Yeah, that's a big
he's a big guy, and he's still in the WWE, so he's in that shape. So he's always has to have that body walking around because they're wrestling. Those guys, and I'm not a big wrestling fan. I think they wrestle 2-3 times a week sometimes on their schedule.
Yeah. Monday Night Raw. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anymore, but at least a few times a month they're wrestling, doing big shows. To have a super heavyweight class, I think would be better.
Yeah.
So, with that said, there's a fight upcoming on March 4th, which will be next Saturday. This is Thursday of the week before, the 23rd. So the March 4th, there's a UFC 209. It's a 170 belt title between Tyron Woodley and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, which is a rematch from UFC. I believe it's 205. That was a New York card. That was a majority draw. And which is automatic. Everybody thought that you have to have a rematch on that. So what do you think?
I think Woodley should win. Hopefully. I'm not a big fan of him, but I like to see Ika style. And he is a good boxer. He's a good fighter. He's not cocky. He can be sometimes, but I think he's a good starter, and hopefully he wins. Like I said, hopefully, and Rashad Evans. That's one of my favorite UFC fighters.
Yeah, Rashad Evans is also on that card.
It's gonna be a great card.
Alistair Overeem and Mark Hunt, like I just said. So, I mean, Mark Hunt's coming. We were just talking about Brock Lesnar. So, Mark Hunt is going to fight again after. I think he threatened to sue the UFC over because
he wanted like
Brock Lesnar
million.
missed the. Yeah, he lost that fight, but it was short notice. Brock Lesnar came in, then he lost. Everybody knew that Brock Lesnar was on steroids. He got popped for it, but he had this exemption.
Yeah.
Like, it was a weird kind of. They just needed him to sell the card, basically. That was 200. So that was last July. That was the UFC 200. That's when that.
Yeah.
So that was last July. Now he's going to. So Mark Hunt hasn't fought since then. But Mark Hunt is a very
big guy, though.
Yeah, he's the Super Samoan is his nickname, and he hits people and turns and walks away because he knows when they're out.
Yeah.
And I've seen it 3 or 4 times with that guy. He hits somebody and he just sees, they're out, and then turns and walks away.
It.
Also on that March 4th card, I mean, I like Woodley, I like Thompson. I think Woodley will take Thompson down and out wrestle him and ground and pound, and he took him down and manhandled him on the last time, but only he didn't go back to it.
It was working, and for some reason he just went away from it.
Yeah,
he wouldn't.
It was working, and then Stephen Wonderboy Thompson has been like this karate kid master since he was like 8 years old. His dad teaches karate, he teaches karate, and he has these other MMA skills. But his thing is at distance. He wants to kick and keep you at distance and punch and get exchange, get in and out, But Woodley, grab you, take you to the ground, out wrestle you.
Yeah.
So also on that card, which is a really exciting fight, is the Khabib Nurmagomedov, and I know I'm gonna screw that Russian name up, and Tony Ferguson, which is trains out here actually at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, and that's going to be a great fight. They're number 1 and number 2 in the 155 division.
Wow.
So basically, winner of that is going to fight Conor McGregor
Title shot
for a title once Conor comes back, because he said he wants to take some time off. I guess he has a kid due this in either March or April, I think, and he said he wanted to wait until after his son was born, son or daughter, I think. I don't know what it is, but he wanted to wait. So this Khabib and Tony fight is coming up on that same card. It's the co-main event, and that's going to be a hell of a fight.
Who are you picking?
Here's the problem I have with that fight, because I'm thinking about it. It's all main events and title shots are 5 rounds. That being the undercard, that's only going to be a 3-round fight, I believe.
Yep.
Unless they're doing it for an interim belt at 155, which I don't know, because we don't know how long Conor. I mean, they're going to keep taking belts away from Conor.
Yeah.
I don't know, and then that's kind of a. I think it's.
If it's an automatic title shot, it might be 5.
Well, everything's a 5-round fight, but everything that's a main event or a title shot is 5 rounds. But this is a co-main event, so it's probably 3 rounds, unless it's an interim title, and then it's going to be 5 rounds. Because I would actually want to see those guys go 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a 3. I mean, for a number 1 and number 2 contender fight, it's going to go 3 rounds. That's that's kind of, now I'm thinking about that. But then, hey, it's 2 less rounds. You empty your gas tank early and go for it early, because you just go balls out for 3 rounds. That might make it even more exciting.
That'd be more exciting.
I think the Russian fighter is going to get that one.
The same here.
I like his endurance. I've seen him fight a couple times.
He's kind of the same style as a Tyron Woodley in a way where he can take you to the ground, and he outmaneuvers people on the ground like crazy. He's real heavy on the ground. He throws crazy punches on the ground. But we did see him get rocked by Michael Johnson and stuttered, like standing up. And Tony Ferguson has great punching and is a really, really good Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He's a high-level jiu-jitsu fighter. He, like I said, 10th Planet jiu-jitsu, he's phenomenal at it. So does wrestling beat jiu-jitsu? Is this or is it just punching? Are they going to stand? Or what are they going to do? They're both long fighter. I mean, Tony Ferguson's a really long fighter for their size. But yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think I could pick that one. Because that one could go. That's a coin toss for me almost.
Okay.
I I think the longer it goes, the Russian fighter has a little more endurance. I think.
I don't agree with you on
I don't
that
know
one.
because I mean, Tony Ferguson just beat I think it was RDA just recently down in Brazil or in Mexico City or something, which was at altitude. I think they were in Mexico City, which means they were at altitude, and that was the former 155 champ, and he clearly beat him. So
It'd be a good fight.
we'll see.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm really looking forward to.
What if the odds in Vegas are for that? That'd be put some money on that.
It'd be fairly close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea who. I mean, I'm trying to think where they're fighting at. I don't know if that's a Vegas card or if that's a. I'm gonna look that up right now. Where is UFC 209 at? That's interesting. I don't know. T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas is where the UFC 209 is going to be at. Cool. So also, we're going to get into some stuff this week with.
Tough week.
It's a tough week for police officers.
Yes.
We started off the week, which was. Did that happen on President's Day, or was it the Tuesday after?
Oh, it was on President's Day.
On President's Day in Whittier, there was a traffic accident. The police arrive at the traffic accident. Apparently, after the people already exchanged information, and the one party that got rear-ended left.
Yeah.
The other guy was left there. His car was busted. He tried to get those people to give him a ride.
Right.
He was trying to flag other people down. The police showed up to basically give assist, and he starts shooting at him. Yeah. Shoots two officers. One ended up dying. 27-year veteran of Whittier PD. The other one,
He's still in a critical condition. He's in condition. He's stable.
and then
27 years old too.
And then the guy that shot him, which was clearly by the tattoos on his face and everything about this guy.
Oh, known
gang member.
Yeah. And he
in and out of prison, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about is the proposition here in California. Proposition was 109. It was 47. I think there was 51. Also, we're going to get some prison stuff. So, I mean, Jerry Brown back in the 70s, actually, when he was governor the first time, because not a lot of people remember that this is his second go-around as governor. Mm-hmm. Back then he was known as Moonbeam, and was his nickname. But he came up with this, he deregulated, like, the prison industry. He made them basically all public employees and then made a union for public employees, which makes it harder to fire these public employees. So all these prison, people that work in the prisons and stuff like that are all guards and everything are all public employees, and makes it really hard to get rid of them if they're so
union.
So and in order, what happened now is 40 years later, you have to pay these exorbitant salaries. The prison system in California is ridiculously over budget, overpopulated. I was reading an article this week that it said that I think in 2011, California prisons were at 137% of capacity.
Wow, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
So, as this officer, I mean, I feel for him. I feel for his family. I feel for Whittier PD. But this guy was a repeat offender. Clearly, should not have been out of prison. He only got out like a week before.
2 weeks before.
10 days before, on parole.
And he
shot and killed his cousin. Stole the car, ran into somebody else. Those people left, and then the cops show up basically to give aid and assistance on a traffic collision, which happens every probably 15 minutes. Probably a traffic collision in Southern California somewhere, and they show up and just start getting shot at.
Yeah. Horrible.
We're gonna lead into the Anaheim story here in a second too, but. Ellis, first I'm young 40s, you're late 40s. Mm-hmm. You guys are both black. Brandon, you're in your late 20s. Yep. I want to hear the older black gentleman and the younger black gentleman sitting here with me. What are your guys' takes on cops and this and overcrowding in prisons, and just give me some sort of insight here.
I wonder if when they say they have a person coming into prison, if they're going to rehabilitate them, how are they going about that? Is it education? Is it whatever kind of programs, work programs? Because these people repeat, and become career criminals. At what point do we say that's enough and you're not getting out?
This thing
happens.
I completely agree with that. And we had that 3 strikes rule in California, but then that got rolled back. And then I was also reading some statistics this week about like first-time offenders. Like if it's, by over a certain age, I think, and I reread it, I believe it's if you're over 25 years old, if you're a first-time offender, the chances of you repeat offending are like 48%, which is under half, so that's all right. But if you're a second-time offender, if you're a 2 strikes person, and you've already committed 2 felonies and 2 separate times, so it's a serve your strike, serve your sentence, got caught again. If you're going to get out, the chances of you going back after a second are 92% chance of you going back to prison. Wow. After 2 strikes, this isn't even 3 strikes. 3 strikes, it's like a 99.8% chance you're going back after. I mean, you're going to reoffend. But yes, rehabilitation in prison. I don't know. I think it's like I think prison's like high level babysitting at this point.
It's too lenient. It's these, it's all these people, half their families there, their uncles, their cousins, whatever, and they're not scared to go back. You're not, you're not terrified to go back because they've been there half their lives. That's what they know.
Well, it's institutionalized.
Yeah.
That's the whole, there's guys that are getting out and like, we had the whole Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo. Obama has been letting people out. This week, one of the people he let out ended up committing another bombing. Yeah. So, but let them out. I understand if they're rehabilitated, let them out. But there were Gitmo guys that have been released and have actually asked the United States to put them back in prison because they get 3 square meals a day. Well, they might not be square meals. No. They may be like bologna sandwiches or something and some mac and cheese. And I mean, I'm sure prison food is shit. Let's not. I mean, there should not be privileges like good quality food.
TVs. But
TVs. Watching cable, watching the fights.
I'm sure
they watch the fights.
Well, not in your federal maximum security. Not felons aren't. I mean, maybe blue collar felons, but not embezzlement people are watching shit like that. But
Club Fed,
Club Fed stuff. But we're this is for attempted for any felony or aggravated violent crime type rapes and murders, assaults, things like that. These guys. Are they really? But this guy that killed that Whittier cop. I mean, I hate to judge people by how they look and what they look like, but this guy clearly looked like a thug motherfucker that has been in and out of jail. He has clearly jail tattoos across his face,
neck tattoos,
and just known. I mean, and he was a known gang member on parole. Yeah, the system. So who is held liable for this?
Honestly, I think we are, because
we, the electoral people that elected Jerry Brown in office? Yes, I agree with you.
Jerry Brown, yes. Okay, we need to find a different way to rehabilitate these people, because the way we're doing it is way different than Sweden and other countries when they go to jail.
Yes, and I agree with you, but there's also a difference in just pure population-wise too.
No, and
you're talking about Sweden, which probably has the population of like Minnesota. Right. So if you want to just take Minnesota stats and don't apply them to all of the United States, then okay.
And also, we should make more jails. And we look at Fontana or Moreno Valley. There's empty spaces out there. We can build prisons right there. Tino had the prison. Victorville, yeah.
I think like in Arizona, they got that big desert tent city jail thing out there. But then here's the thing: you put them in tents and stuff out there, but then that's not really that's not fair to the prisoner because it's inhumane.
Right. I feel bring back chain gang. Like Angola in Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, work on the roads, work programs, doing that kind of stuff, clearing fields, putting in sewage systems on the highways and byways, and I don't have a problem with that.
And those guys who get to do that, those are the guys who are better behaved, so that they get to get outside and get some breeze and fresh air and stuff like that. They get those jobs.
Yeah, that's a perk to be outside. Yeah. It's still physical labor, but these guys aren't going to come out and become. The majority aren't. Maybe there's that isolated case. These guys are getting out of prison and becoming surgeons, neurosurgeons. Yeah. But physical labor and learning some sort of construction, learning some sort of mechanical, automobile mechanics, and I think that's where I think our trade skills need to be implemented into prison systems. Teach these guys mechanical. Teach these guys engine work. Teach these guys auto body. Teach these guys, just construction, basic construction stuff. Go through these programs where you can actually have that, and then they actually have a skill once they come out.
Then they can get jobs and stuff
and they can
that.
Like that homeboy outreach program.
Exactly.
Need more programs like
Yeah,
that.
he does a lot with restaurant industries and things like that, and
Mm-hmm.
doing that and stuff. Teaching these guys, all right, this is what it takes to do this, and this is what it means to be a productive member of society.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your own bills, take care of your own finances, take care of your family. Don't be associated with these fucking knuckleheads anymore.
Yeah, that's the dumb thing. A lot of people can't detach from the friends and stuff like that. And that's why they end up going back in jail because, I grew up with this guy when I was 8 years old. He's my homie, blah, blah, blah. You both get caught. You both going to jail. It's like, you need to learn how to separate your real friends from the ones who bring you down.
Yes, we obviously don't have the answers here, but the system needs to get changed. There's a privatization to jails right now that I disagree with. There's companies, big companies that their whole business is jails.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
they buy linens from certain companies, certain vendors. They buy food from certain vendors. They buy this from certain vendors. They buy everything. It's all privatized, and this money just flows in circles. And the government's getting a cut, back to them because they privatized it. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll let you run the jail, but you have to buy your food from this source, and then that source is. So who's paying off who? Follow the dollar. We've talked about this before.
Yep.
So, also, we had in Anaheim this week.
Yesterday.
It actually was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday when it happened.
Okay.
It went viral Tuesday, and then yesterday, it really went viral, and then there was some protests and stuff last night. But originally, the occurrence happened, I think, Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
So, do you want to set it up, Brendan?
So from these a lot of teenagers apparently were on this officer's lawn, and the officer said, "No, get off my lawn," or whatever. The teenager said, "I might shoot you." The officer said, "What?" And he grabbed him, and basically he didn't use excessive force, but he grabbed him. But a bunch of teenagers said, "No, get off him, let him go, let him go, let him go."
He had one hand across his chest, holding onto his sweatshirt.
Right, and he wouldn't let him go. Which, in my opinion, I think you should let him go. If there's 10 teenagers on you, and you're the only person there, let him go, let him walk home, end of story. But the officer wouldn't let him go, and his friends actually helped push the police officer, and that's when the officer got his gun out and fired a warning shot.
Well,
and everyone ran off.
He was technically assaulted because he was pushed.
Yes.
By the theory of assault.
Right, but we didn't know he was a police officer, though. Oh, no, he said he was.
I don't think he ever did.
Yeah. But the kid said his dad's a police officer, and then he said,
the kid that was being held, yes, okay. So, we don't know what happened before. That's like a 7.5, 8 minute video. We don't know what happened before that. Yeah. We don't know if these kids were regular walking home from school. It looks like they're walking home from school. Like there's probably a school nearby. How many times before has he had these kids, and it might not even have been that kid, on his property? Maybe they were vandalizing it somehow. Maybe they were just knocking over his flowers. Who knows? They're like 13, 14-year-old junior high kids, basically.
Yep. One of the neighbors, a lady that lives next to him, said it was an ongoing problem.
Yeah, so it's
happened before.
Yeah, and being a kid myself and walking home from school, I know I used to do shit to people's houses and shit like that, knock over shit and whatever, and
with the mailboxes, all that stuff.
So
pot and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you're just doing stupid shit because you're a 13-year-old. You don't fucking know any better, and you don't respect authority. Yeah. And nowadays, with everybody having video cameras in their phones and everything, he knows that kid can mouth off all he wants to that guy, knowing that it's going to be recorded, and knowing that he's going to go viral, and he has that little mentality of like, no, fuck you, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Well, no, you can't do whatever you want. And I've seen people saying that they were like that guy that held him, like, I guess the kid did say, "Oh, I'm going to shoot you or I'll kill you," to that guy.
After he grabbed him, or before he grabbed him?
I heard he said, "I'm going to sue you." That's what the kid said.
No, the kid. Well,
sue or shoot. We don't.
That's it. He said.
That's what his friend said.
That's it.
I'm
Yeah.
going to sue you.
That's a he said. That's a he said thing there, and we don't know because the video starts after that. Yeah. Which is all these video things. Everything starts after. It's a 15-minute story, and we see 7 minutes of it.
Damn.
So
Was that cell phone video or some
cell
video?
phone video. It was all cell phone video. Yeah. So in the video, you do see him. So it comes on. He already has a hold of this kid, and he goes, "You threatened to shoot me." And then the kid says, "I think the kid said something about." To me, I thought I heard him say, "Oh, I threatened to kill you," or "I threatened like that." Well, that's a crime.
Right. Yep.
And he doesn't know this, and we don't even at this point know he's an officer.
Yeah.
We didn't know he's an officer until the news story told us an officer.
Right.
At this point, we're still he's just a guy out there like putting his hand on this kid, basically. Hey, somebody called the cops. This kid just threatened to kill me.
Right.
He's not flashing a badge.
He's not flashing a badge. He's in plain clothes.
If you're a cop, you should. If I'm a cop and some kid threatens me, look, I'm a cop.
But
Don't
here's the
screw
thing.
this up.
So as a cop, where you have all these kids walking across your house and already vandalizing your property, possibly, do you want them to know you're a cop now in today's society? Oh, a cop lives there. Let's fuck his house up even more. If he says he's a cop, now, next week, 2 weeks from now, his house is going to get fucked up even more because he just announced to the neighborhood he's a cop to these kids.
Well, okay.
So he's probably trying to keep that information private and just be like, hey, this kid threatened to kill me. Somebody already said they called the cops, or he may have called the police himself even. We don't know.
But then I wouldn't bring the gun out. That's
well,
the thing.
but he didn't bring the gun out until he got pushed by. He dragged this kid back, and it looked to me like he was pulling the kid away from, trying to get him away, separate him from the group. The problem was the group kept following.
Well,
then he got to a situation where he was backed up against a hedge. Yeah. This one kid with his backpack comes in, knocks him, runs and tackles him, knocks him over. Yeah. He still holds on to the kid originally. The other kid that backed off. Right. Another kid comes up and swings at the officer.
Yeah. Okay.
And another kid jumps over the hedge and reaches into his back pocket and is reaching for something in his back pocket. That's when the officer then reaches into his waistband, actually fumbles around a little bit. Right. He doesn't clear his weapon clearly, evenly. And then everybody sees he has a gun, and everybody kind of starts to run away. Now, as he then, let me tell you, this is how I saw it. Okay. So you started how you saw the video, and I'm telling you how I see it. Right. As he's still holding on to this kid, he reaches down, and you said he fired a warning shot. I don't believe he fired a warning shot. I believe that was a mistaken discharge of that weapon, and therefore he should have never been in that situation to begin with. Okay. He was not in control of that weapon and in control of the kid at the same time. He should be at fault for firing that weapon because it was not safely discharged. And one, you don't fire warning shots. As a trained officer, when you fire your gun, you are firing to kill. Okay. There is no other reason to fire your gun. When that weapon went off, I think he was reaching down to control that kid better, and he pulled the trigger. It's lucky nobody got shot.
Yeah, exactly. Really lucky.
But I think it was an accidental discharge, and there should never be an accidental discharge. Okay. You should be in control. You should have trigger awareness, all that going on. I think that's where this guy is at fault. And yes, I do believe that he should have taken a description down of the kid, maybe taken his camera out, taken a photo of that kid. Then when the cops go, hey, this is the kid that threatened me, he should have been clear-headed about that. But in that situation where all these people are around you, because there were 10, 12 people around.
He was surrounded.
You walk away.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he could walk. I agree. So you have to go back to when you could have prevented this to begin with. Yeah.
And the other thing is...
But once it was already there... Once somebody tackles you, once another person you were holding on to one person. Yeah. Another person tackles you, another person swings at you, and another person jumps over a hedge. You're basically in a fight now with 4 people, and one of them is reaching in their back pocket. Right. He clearly there's a kid in a maroon sweater.
He's lucky he didn't
jumps over and is reaching his back pocket. He's probably 8 to 10 feet away. Right. That's when the officer goes to clear his weapon. He pulls his shirt up first. He doesn't get a good clear, and he just basically pulls it out, and everybody realizes, oh, he has a gun. Everybody starts to run. The kid in the maroon that jumped over, his hand was out of his back pocket, and he runs away. Everybody's, oh shit, what's going on, and this and that. But he got tackled, swung at, and somebody else jumped over a hedge. I'm sorry, if I have a weapon on me and I'm faced with 4 people, even in that situation that you put yourself in, if he would have pulled his gun out and any one of those people would have attacked him then and he would have shot them then, I think it's justifiable because he was technically under threat. Right. But when he actually did fire his weapon, everybody scattered, and he was like reaching down again to secure that kid, and the gun went off.
And let me say this. You've been to fights before, right? We all have.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so with a group of us on the fights, we usually first, hey, leave him alone, break it up. That's what one of the kids trying to do. Hey, leave him alone, get your hand up for him, leave him alone. Did he listen? No, he kept on provoking the kid.
Because
And
in his mind, he is restraining that kid, trying to get that kid away because that kid threatened to kill him. In his mind, that's what he's going off of. That's a crime. That's a felony.
That's a crime, right?
That's a crime, what
Right.
that kid did. And that kid and one other kid did get arrested.
But yeah, yep, they both
There
did.
should be 3 of them arrested.
But one of them,
Because one of them tackled him, one of them swung a punch at him.
right.
The other one just jumped over, like threatened him and put his hand in his back pocket,
Right.
but never did anything else other than that. But that's still a threat. That's a not a physical, but no, it's a visual threat.
Okay.
That's a visual threat. So you've already been tackled, swung at, trying to control a person that's getting away, and now having a 4th visual threat all within your surroundings.
Ellis, what do
I
you
understand pulling the gun. I disagree completely with when the gun was actually fired.
think? Okay. Ellis, what do you think about this?
We've been through this a few months back at a certain place I won't name, and we've done a little bit of crowd control,
Yes.
me and John. It's gotten to the point where, luckily, we didn't have to throw any blows, but it starts escalating, and luckily, because of our experience and my experience with my job, we're able to keep our heads about us. So the off-duty cop, he kept his head about him to a certain point, but it got out of hand.
Yeah, he was way overwhelmed in that situation.
Yeah. So
Yeah, Ellis is referring to the fact that there was a local bar we go to, and there was a fight multiple fights that night that broke out, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them we just kind of went and like, all right, people just get out of the restaurant bar we were at. Just get it out basically out into the street.
clear the scene's the first thing you want to do.
Just get people isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another female that night ended up getting intoxicated, and that's a different thing. When you're in a bar, restaurant situation, you're talking about people under the influence of alcohol, whatever else. But yeah, this officer that we found out later he's an officer, he never identified him as an officer. I agree. But I also if I was an officer, I don't know if I'd want all these neighborhood kids knowing that a cop lives there. In today's society, where people are shooting cops when you show up to assist in a traffic collision, are you going to let your neighborhood know that you're a cop living there?
And that's the thing about the climate of today's, back in the day when we were coming along, we need to get back to some of that, because nowadays parent can't parent, coaches can't coach, teachers can't teach because you're going to be sued or you're going to be afraid you can't say this and that.
Yeah.
We need to back that up and get back to that, because that's where the breakdown is.
I think
My parents are going to whoop my ass when I get home because I was acting a fool, you're not going to act a fool.
Right.
But nowadays it's not like that.
Well, I think you completely nailed the point. I think a lot of this comes down to is parenting.
Okay.
And both of you guys are fortunate that you had your fathers in your lives.
Right.
Exactly.
Because as black guys, that doesn't happen. That's a huge... I mean, the numbers are so skewed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And whether that is... And I'm not saying that's because they're in prison or that... But it's just...
No, but it is a problem.
That is a problem of that.
In our
community.
In your community, yeah.
Yep.
It's... I mean, I'm also fortunate to have... I had both of my parents were married for 40 years before my mom passed away. And I'm, still take care of my dad now. So... but yeah, it's... I think having the dual parent situation is a huge thing in society that we've gotten away from, and I don't think that has been addressed by any politician really to try to deal with that. I don't know how you deal with that.
I mean, like with Trump's slogan, "Let's make America great again." Well, that's part of it. That's what we have to get back to. My parents would have laughed their ass off if you said you can't beat your kids. I'm like, really? Watch this.
I remember getting beat. Not beat, but getting spanked by my friend's parents because I acted a fool, and then they just let my parents know. Oh yeah, he did this, but we already spanked him for it. And all right, like when you had good friends and when your parents knew each other and they knew where you were at, and you were home when the street lights came on or whatever it happened to be.
The 90s.
Well, for you, for us, it was for Ellis, it was the 70s. For me, it was the 80s. So, but yeah, it's a different. It's just different. I think that I do believe that we need some solid both parental parties involved with the kids' lives.
Yes.
I think, like you said, coaches need to coach, teachers need to teach, police need to police, parents need to parent. Parenting at home is huge. Getting discipline at home is huge.
Yes.
I think we also need to get, and I think part of that comes from and I'm going to get into this right now, but I didn't really plan on it, but I think the fact that our politicians don't talk about parenting, I think who does need to talk about parenting is our religious leaders.
Okay, yep.
Whatever system of religious belief you want to believe in, they all kind of have this, like, take care of your own and have this aspect of self-policing yourselves in your family, in your religion, holding each other within your belief system accountable. There needs to be more of that. And whether or not you want to agree that this country is founded on Christian beliefs or not, there's a lot of writings that say our forefathers were. There's some things our forefathers said that church needs to be separated, and the whole church separation of church and state was really keeping not the church out of the state, but the state out of the church. And that was only written in a letter to like Congress. It wasn't even an actual official document, but it's really keeping the state out of the church, not the church out of the state. So, but having that belief system, saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school, which I don't think is done anymore.
How they
Not
gonna
that
use
I
it?
know of.
I don't know. I mean, Brandon, you're the youngest one here.
Right.
Did you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
When I was a kid, yes, we said the Pledge of Allegiance. We actually had prayer in school. We did all that.
Yeah, it was only on test days.
No. Yes, that extra test days too. But
Elective.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, like I was saying we need to get back to that because nowadays my nieces and nephews, they're 8 and 10. They don't even do that anymore. And I think maybe it's most of the liberals because we don't like Christianity that much, and maybe it's a culture change. We'll be more open-minded and tolerant. I think that we should get back to morals, pretty much, because we lost our morality. Like, that's out the window.
We're too PC, and
Yeah.
everything is for a therapist nowadays, and that's how this mess started. Is you can't do this and that. You need to
Perfect example, after the elections, when Trump won, I was mad, but you know what? He's our president. Okay, maybe next 4 years we'll vote him out. But to have the therapy dogs and schools canceled and stuff like that because they couldn't handle it, come on, grow up. That's not the real world, okay? Don't
You're not always
live in an isolated
going to
bubble.
get your way. You're not always.
Exactly.
It's
Life is hard for a reason, man, because it challenges you, and you come up. If you go through those challenges, you end up better for it. You feel when you do a hard day worth of work, you feel better at the end of it. A hard week of work, you feel better at the end of it. Exactly. When that time you actually get to relax and let that relax and let that sigh out and sit on the couch or whatever it is, or grab that cold beer, it tastes so much better. It feels so much better after hard work. It's the same thing here. Like, we need to bring back a work ethic. We need to bring back a family value, whatever belief system it is, bring back that simplistic, and maybe we're just too simplistic thinking about it, but I don't know. I think we need those values, that work ethic, and that turns into community.
Yes, and loyalty.
Community involvement. You have, when you have a park in the city that is filling up with trash or something like that, come together as a community, go through there with some trash bags, pick up trash and throw it away and keep it clean. Yeah. That's how you keep gangs out of your neighborhoods. Yep. We were talking about this earlier in the week. Ellis and I were talking about how in Pomona there was a shooting when this little kid got killed, and it was this drive-by, and then you see the cops going door to door in the neighborhood asking for information. Yep. All the doors are closed, all the windows are locked. Yeah. No, we don't know nothing. No say. Yep. We don't know nothing. Yeah. We can't say a thing. You don't rat on anybody. You don't snitch. Any of that. That aspect needs to we got to get away from that. The only way to improve your community is to
say something.
To say something. And we are a nation of laws. We need to live by those laws, because then these are the law. You break the law, you're in this category. You are not functioning in society. You broke this law. Mm-hmm. You committed a crime against another human being or against property or whatever it happens to be. And I agree. 25-year sentences for minor marijuana possession and shit like that is bullshit.
Yeah.
We're talking about crime, like violent crime here.
Gunpoints, killing people, threatening people's lives. They used to be in jail for that for
assault,
a long
batteries,
time.
rapes,
Yeah.
and violent crime, anything like that. I mean, not petty theft and things like that, and minor drug usage. Yeah, we need treatment programs for those, which I think is also part of rehabilitation. But really, we just got to get back to some sort of.
There's a difference between making a mistake and committing a crime. You got caught with a little bag of weed, little dime bag of weed. You did something stupid. You go in and rob a liquor store and shoot somebody. That's a crime.
That's a crime, yeah.
But when you go into the liquor store to shoot somebody, to rob that liquor store for money to get that weed, or get that drug, or get that, now that's you're committing, So have drug treatments so we can get people away from that, and even weed is, I think there are beneficial aspects to that, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, in a later podcast. But that's still. I don't know. We don't have time for that. That's a whole other discussion right now. So anyway, but I wanted to get your guys' perspective on police and just, being black men in the United States. And
we, the police and the black community or Mexican community or any minority community, we need to get to know each other better. We don't know each other. Our association with the police is they're coming in here to arrest one of our family members or us. So there's a disconnection from the get-go.
Yes.
Every time we see a cop, it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's our
who
association.
Who are they here for this time?
Yeah. Yes. We don't associate with each other outside of that. So we have to get to know each other better, and that's how you start to fix the problem.
Yeah. But, I agree. Like, when I was a kid, a little kid, I didn't know anything. Well, didn't know the police brutality and stuff like that now. But, like, I used to have... There's this cop that used to sit right by my house, and he's always giving out tickets. And so me and my neighbors used to talk to him every day, say, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. Had a good conversation with him. It was cool. We should be able to get back to that, as being black guys and stuff like that. We should be able to have a decent conversation. And not all of us, and don't stereotype all of us, because we stereotype cops like, oh, all cops are bad, and black people still, some cops stereotype us, like, oh, he's a black guy, might have a gun on him. If you have a decent conversation with cops, most of them are pretty cool. Some of them can be jerks, but most of them are pretty nice, and we can get back to that. Don't judge a book by its cover. And, like, if you're doing, walking through a stop sign or, little things like that, do what the cop says. Don't be a smart ass. Don't mouth of them. Do what the cop says, and sometimes you get with a warning. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But I agree. Have I had incidents with cops? Yes, they followed me home a couple of times and stuff like that. But was I mad? Yes. But I'm not gonna say, oh, all cops are bad or anything. Like, I know Pomona PD are cool. LAPD, they're real cool, friendly cops.
Not all. See, there are certain individuals. I said this the other day. You can go into a Starbucks and there could be just this asshole fucking barista behind the counter. Does that mean all Starbucks employees are fucking dicks? No.
Nope.
Yes, some cops are fucking assholes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
It's happened, yeah.
There's assholes in every job, in every group of people. You get 5 people together, one of them's going to be an asshole.
Yeah.
I know in the group of people we hang out with, I know who the asshole is.
Right.
It's me. So, there's going to be one in every group.
Yeah.
So this isn't a new thing, and we've all been pulled over for stupid shit.
Yeah. But
I've been pulled over for having a dim license plate light.
Right.
I've been pulled over for my trailer hitch is blocking my license plate. And all it is it's late at night, maybe in a bar area, maybe leaving, an area that has a couple night bars or nightclubs or restaurants. Like, oh, well, this person's probably leaving. They might have had a couple of drinks.
Right.
Well, what am I being pulled over? A dim license plate light. Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Come on, man. We need, and the whole thing, police, the governors and mayors and city council members and county clerks and everybody else, they're not going to, policing is not going to change because it makes them money.
Yeah.
When they realize that they're paying this officer, anywhere from probably 80 to 100 grand a year, I think is,
with OT and everything.
OT and all that kind of stuff. Your average probably LAPD officer probably makes over 80 grand a year.
Yep.
So, and then with OT and all that kind of stuff, like you said, over 100 grand a year maybe.
I used to make 50 doing
just
but I was doing
security work. Yeah.
extra
So,
stuff to do.
I guarantee they're making probably 80 grand a year, 80 to 100 grand a year, and who knows if I'm right or wrong on that. You know, we could be off by a few grand, but who cares? But you make that amount of money, there's 10,000 officers employed by LAPD. That's a lot of money going out per year in salary. How are they going to make that salary back? Oh, we're going to pull you over for tickets here or there. We're going to set up a rolling stop. We're going to set up checkpoints. We're going to set up different things like that.
Also to pay for all the lawsuits because of the shootings or beatings or whatnot. And
there's also a lot of cops that get shot and need medical coverage and to take care of their families. There's also vehicle. There's a lot of equipment use. There's a lot of things like that. There's a huge cost involved, and they're gonna use these cops to make money with little stupid speed traps and little stupid things. When they start using police to generate income, that system is flawed.
Yep, I agree. So no checkpoints. What do you think about checkpoints, John? What do you think about that? I hate them. They're bogus. They're stupid. That's why I post them.
I believe checkpoints are actually, I believe constitutionally they're illegal.
Yes.
I understand.
I think it's a waste of our tax dollars.
I understand wanting to get drunk drivers off the road.
Right.
I completely understand that. Yeah. But I believe the drunk driving is going down. We've talked about this. This is probably our fourth podcast. Yeah. We've probably talked about drunk driving 3 of these 4 podcasts now.
Probably texting and driving is getting worse than drunk driving.
Yeah, there's other distraction driving. Yeah. Driving while tired. There's different things like that are probably the numbers are going to even out.
Medication.
Medication. Well, that's also driving under the influence is any type of drug. We're not just talking about alcohol, but any driving under in the influence. Yeah, you could over medicate yourself and drive. There's people that sleepwalking. There's people that literally get up in the middle of the night, sleepwalk, have no idea what they're doing, get in their car, drive to the store, buy a gallon of milk, come home, have no fucking recollection of doing it. They get home and go, where'd this 2 gallons of milk come from? And this,
I've worked double shift before. Drove home and I don't remember driving home.
Yeah, there's
I'm so flat tired that I didn't really.
I've done the same thing where you work so late and you think about it going, wait, I always know the route I go home, but I don't remember this. I remember getting on the freeway, and then I remember turning into my driveway. There's a lot in between I don't remember, and that's just from being tired.
Right.
Not alcohol involved or drugs at all. I mean, that's I've smoked weed 3 times in my life. That's I'm breaking news here. But yeah, that's not. It's such a weird thing that distraction driving is up there. Like I said before, with companies like Uber and Lyft and things like that, and rideshare programs, we're getting drunk driving's coming down. So it's but it's still a problem. Yes, but I think checkpoints are
the money thing. It's a money.
It's a money thing.
It's
when these when they hire. When
tow
truck company hires out, they contract with a tow company. The tow company's making money off of your tow, off of your impound, off of everything, and that's a huge racket.
Yep.
Yeah.
Illegal parking is a huge racket. Tow companies for that is a huge racket. They make millions of dollars a year, I guarantee, with tow companies, and a lot of that money gets kicked back to the individual police departments, maybe individual officers, maybe individual council members. Who knows? Follow the dollar.
Yeah. Yep.
We might have to change this podcast name to Follow the Dollar Podcast. Yeah. But yeah, so we're kind of running out of time here. We got a few minutes left. This is Oscar week for all those that are interested in Oscars. It's also, I heard it this week, referred to as the Gay Super Bowl. I read it online. These are not my words. So I don't know. I like movies. I like I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch the Gay Super Bowl now. So
a lot of good nominees.
There's a lot of good movies out there. I don't even have a list in front of me.
Fences. You have La La Land.
Lion.
Moonlight. Lion.
It's a huge list. The Oscars used to be 5 movies, right? Up for Academy Awards only, and now it's 10 movies. But then everything else is a list of 5. I think still, your best actors are 5, but your best pictures. Okay, here we go. Best pictures are. We got La La Land in no particular order. La La Land, Arrival, Lion, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Moonlight, Hacksaw Ridge, Manchester by the Sea, and Fences. So that's Best Picture.
Movies, yeah.
So that's 9.
For the individual awards, it's always 5.
Yeah, it used to be 5 for Best Picture and 5 for Director, and there was always 5. And then some of these categories I was looking at, there were 3. best sound editing or some crazy like animated short.
Well,
all right, well, you got a really good chance of winning. There's 2 of you nominated.
Yeah. But it should be a good show.
And then some of these were like best song, and then like La La Land had 2 of the out of the top. There's 5 songs nominated, and La La Land had 2. Like, all right, you just increased your chances of winning. I haven't seen La La Land. I have seen Arrival. I have seen Lion. I have seen Hell or High Water. I have seen Hacksaw Ridge, Manchester by the Sea, and Fences.
I haven't seen none.
Wow, I feel really bad now because the only 2 movies. Well, I haven't seen La La Land because it's a musical, and maybe that's why it's the gay Super Bowl. And the other 2 movies I haven't seen are both Hidden Figures, which is the black women in the NASA program, or just women in general, and then Moonlight, which is also not really my thing. That's about a black man that's dealing with gay in the 80s in Miami. I know nothing about any of those things. I don't know about being black, gay, or in Miami. So not really a movie that interests me. Out of the ones I saw, I really liked Lion, and I really liked Hell or High Water. Manchester by the Sea was really good. Hacksaw Ridge, which was really good, but I don't see a Mel Gibson war movie winning Best Picture.
We Were Soldiers was the best Mel Gibson movie that he made.
That was a good movie. I had the movie at home. That's a good movie.
Great movie.
We Were Soldiers is a great movie.
Yes.
But I really liked Lion, and I really liked Hell or High Water. Manchester by the Sea, I think, was excellent acting by, I think Casey Affleck was the one that was in that. Yeah. Really good acting. But I think Lion for me was probably the best. I don't know. Hell or High Water. I go back and forth between those 2. I'd be happy with either one of those. I mean, a lot of people are saying it's going to be Moonlight. I think though, as the favorite, I believe. I don't know. So that's our Oscar talk. We don't really know anything about it.
We'll see what happens on Sunday. Yep. And then Jimmy Kimmel's hosting it. Yeah.
I think Jimmy Kimmel's hosting it again, which I think it's
last year was Chris Rock, wasn't it?
No, I don't remember. Who knows? I don't know. Wasn't it the
Leo won the award last year or something like that?
I don't remember who did it.
I think last year was Ryan Seacrest, wasn't it?
No, I don't know. Secret, I don't know.
He hosted something.
What are you watching? 2016 Oscar host was Chris Rock last year.
That's when Leo won for The Revenant. He finally won the Oscar.
Let's see if we can do Oscar hosts. Let's see what this brings up. Past hosts. So this year's you can give Jimmy Kimmel.
And I think there's not a lot of controversy this year, like last year, about the Oscars. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, last year was
a more diverse.
Yeah.
Well, that's just, and I think that just goes in cycles, don't you?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Is it really? Do we have to have a black guy as a best actor and a best director?
No, I think if you act, you
a black woman.
That's stupid to me.
And some of these
good actor.
I don't get how some of like Lion, the guy who is in Lion, is up for best supporting actor.
Okay.
Why? And Nicole Kidman is up for like best, I think, supporting actress. Well, I guess there's more than one actor, but I don't understand what the difference between actor and supporting are. Is it the time on screen?
Well, that or the main character too.
But the main character Lion,
the role that's I guess he's the secondary role, or I don't know how you.
But the main character in Lion is up for supporting.
That's just strange.
Now the movie was kind of split up. It was like about the kid, the child, to begin with. So maybe because he isn't he's only in like 3/4 of the movie. Mm-hmm. So that's why I think it may be just time that the movie's focused on.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't know, because like the Hell or High Water one, I think Jeff Bridges is up for supporting, but there's really like 4 main actors in that movie. There's the 2 brothers and the 2 cops that are chasing him. The 2 are Texas Rangers. So that I understand supporting because there's not just like one lead role. I don't know. What do I know? But in other news this week that just was released a couple days ago, the great beverage of the 80s and 90s is coming back, Zima. What are your thoughts, Ellis? You probably drank Zima. I kind of just missed out on that.
If you take lemon water and alcohol, it's basically what you have is Zima.
I think people used to drop like Jolly Ranchers and stuff in it to flavor it up or something, or do something different
all kind
to
of weird stuff. Put all kind of weird stuff in it, M&Ms, all kind of crazy things.
Yeah, hot sauce and stuff, and putting it like to give it some sort of other flavor.
It's one of the things when you're in college and you're young, and it's like, they say, "Ooh, I'm drinking," but you don't really want to get drunk. It's just to say I've had a drink. It's just a trendy.
Yeah.
The bottles has a certain look to it or something. It's just one of those things. It's one of the things that they have in your hand at a club or something.
Nice.
Yeah, because me and a friend of mine drank a case of those back in the day, and nothing happened.
Okay.
I've gotten bigger high off mouthwash. I mean,
it actually runs about 5% alcohol, which is more than that's about an average beer. So
is that on the cap or is that a
yeah?
So I don't feel it when I drink.
Clear malt Zima Clear Malt was a clear, light, carbonated alcoholic beverage that was made and distributed by the Coors Brewing Company. Introduced in 1993. I was just out of high school then. I was only a year out of high school. That's why I wasn't drinking. Yeah, that's
4
why.
years old.
I never drank in high school. Much.
I did. Yeah, so Zima's coming back. And all right, what else we have? That was Zima news. We got a little bit of time. We're only a couple minutes left here.
Okay.
What else you got coming up, Brandon? Any bands? Anything you want to talk about? You gonna talk about Deftones and Rise Against again?
No.
For the third week in a row?
Okay, well, Suicide Silence, they're back. Hollywood signing at Aniva on Monday. Their album comes out, so hopefully that is good. That's about it. In the band department, Social D has a new show.
Yeah, I think they're playing. Are they gonna play in Pomona? I heard.
Yeah, they have a second show in. I think it's April 7th.
Okay.
Yeah, and then one in March in Pomona, and then Corn's playing in March 3rd and 4th in House of Blues in Anaheim.
Well, I just saw. Is there some big show that's going on back east, like in Ohio or something, with like Metallica and Korn and a bunch of other bands and
yes,
some festival thing or something?
I forgot.
I just heard about it on the radio today. I heard like they were giving tickets away, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! I meant to look that up, and I forgot to."
I know. I forgot what concert was. But I know what you're talking about.
We're talking about concerts. Ellis, when's the last concert you went to?
Last concert I went to was Body Count in Anthrax.
Nice.
He's probably drinking Zima at that concert. Zima in the rib bottle, as you just showed me a text from a friend of yours. Is a rib bottle.
That's
Rib for whose pleasure is that bottle? That's all I want to know. There's a story there we're going to talk about off the air.
So Body Count Anthrax. It was a good show.
Yeah, great
Nice.
show.
Okay.
Great show.
Yeah, Body Count is new single out this week called "No Lives Matter." There you go.
All right, well, there you go.
Good song.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Ellis, you have anything coming up? You have a new job you're starting? Maybe you want to talk about?
Yeah, starting a new job with my friends. Parents are going to be working on doing maintenance and whatnot.
All right, good.
Nice.
Get out the OC and get out and get some fresh air and whatnot and work hard.
All right, good. And then I don't really have anything going on. It's baseball spring training starts. I think this Saturday. I think they start playing games on the 25th.
Yeah.
Go Dodgers.
Yep. And so I'm looking forward to watching some baseball again. Hockey's going on right now. Oh, we need to talk about. Yeah, let's just touch on this real quick. We got a couple minutes here. Oh, we got 30 seconds.
Okay.
I want to first say, and we haven't mentioned this yet, but Mike Ilyich used to be the owner of the Red Wings. Yeah. He started Little Caesars Pizza. He passed away a couple weeks ago, and I've been meaning to talk about that, and I haven't. Both Brandon and I'm a huge hockey fan. It's my number one sport. UFC or MMA is my second. But I'm a huge hockey fan. Yesterday was the 37th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice game.
Yeah.
The 1980 Olympics, U.S. beats Russia. Then they beat Finland for the gold.
Al Mack's famous "You Believe in Miracles."
Yeah, you believe in miracles, and
that's the first game I ever watched.
That's that same here. That's when I became a fan. That ringing was my timer to letting us know our time is up on the podcast. But we'll go talk about this. But Brandon and I are both Red Wings fans.
Yes.
Brandon has. The Red Wings now have been to the playoffs 26 straight years. It's the longest run in any professional sports team history.
Wow.
And they're probably not going to make it this year.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Well, I think my first mistake was 2 years ago, getting rid of Mike Bubchak. That was a big heartbreaker. But we're rebuilding right now, and I like the way we're going. We signed all these young players, and Medvik, he's impressing me a lot. No offense to Jimmy Howard, but Medvik, he's really good.
Oh, yeah.
We're missing Pavel which sucks.
Yeah,
he
Pavel
retired.
Datsyuk is retired.
And,
he's still playing, but he's not playing in the NHL anymore.
I think one thing I get was injuries. I think they kind of hurt us a lot this year.
The last couple of years, we've been struggling to make the playoffs. We've just been barely getting in. And we've had some huge injuries. We've had some big players that aren't there anymore. As far as bodies that are going to and they're not a playoff team, and they haven't really been a playoff team in the last few years.
No, we
It's sad to
just
say.
snuck in there, but
Yeah, it's So yeah, I wanted to mention about their owner passing away. He did a lot for hockey.
yes.
I heard a story.
And
that this
Detroit.
guy, he apparently paid for like 30 years or something of Rosa Parks like mortgage or rent or
Yeah.
something. I heard.
Yep.
Really?
Like, and nobody knew it was
Yeah,
him
no one
until
knows.
after he died.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, came out like he just like out of the goodness of his heart was just like, here's money, here's her rent.
Yeah.
And it just came from an anonymous donor, and it finally came out that it was Mike Gillette. He started Little Caesars. He also, I think, was the owner of either part owner of the Lions or the Tigers or the Bears. Oh my, I'm not sure.
I think it was the Tigers.
One of the other Detroit teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Red Wing. He was the owner of the Red Wings, and I just want to, like,
Hats off to him.
yeah,
Yes.
very big hats off to that guy. He's
Yes.
done a lot for a lot of different people, a lot of different organizations,
That's great.
and he will be truly missed as an
Yes.
owner. But he was, 80-something years old,
Yeah.
so that's, call it what it is.
Well,
but
that's a dying breed too.
Time to
People-
go.
People like himself and Jerry Buss and
Yeah.
so on. Those
Yeah.
owners were
oh, we didn't
Al
even talk about
Davis.
that. You got
changed the game.
your Laker fans in the house. I mean, obviously the person sitting across from me isn't. He's decked out in Dallas gear.
Dallas
but
Mavericks.
Magic Johnson taking over operations for the Lakers. I think that's a big announcement
That's
this
a
week we
good
didn't
move.
talk about.
That's a good move.
Today was a trade deadline for
Yeah.
basketball
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Made a few moves, get us a high draft pick next year, and clear some cap room with the salary cap. So moving forward, we're improving, and it'll get better. It's baby steps, but it'll get better.
Yeah,
Like 2-3 years. What do you think?
I think next year, if we stay healthy, we can make the playoffs, and then down the line, further and further.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for Hardheaded Productions podcast this week.
I'm Brandon.
Brandon, thanks again, Ellis, for coming
Ellis,
by.
thank
And
you.
once again, I'm John. Thank you once again.